You may not believe it, but I'm not an extrovert. And I'm definitely not an introvert, so what am I? I'm actually what's known as an ambivert. And what does that look like when it comes to running a business? Well, one day I'm thriving on stage, at events, in meetings, and the next day I'm in silence and I'm just hunched down at my laptop and I don't want to talk to anyone. So in this video, I'm going to tell you what it's really like being an ambivert entrepreneur, the pros, the challenges, and basically how you can actually use your ambiversion as a superpower if you know how to really hone it in. So first of all, I want to cover what an ambivert actually is. And an ambivert, as you may guess from the name, is someone who has both extrovert and introvert traits. Now, generally, I think it's quite misconceived what that is. People just assume that extroverts are people who are loud, introverts are quiet, but no, it's actually where you get your energy from. So introverts generally get their energy from being alone, and extroverts will get it from social situations. Now, I'm an ambivert, which means I get it from both, but also then both situations drain me at different times. So it can get really confusing. And actually, those who don't know me assume I'm just pure extroverted, and those who do know me would consider me to actually be an extroverted introvert, which would mean that as an introvert, I get my energy from my alone time because I love just going to a spa by myself. I love reading. I love just like being in quiet, going on walks with my dog, and just not really talking to anyone a lot of the time. I love those situations and it really does build up energy in me. But I'm very extroverted at times when I can have conversations, I can get up on stage, I do public speaking, I do videos like this, and I'm good at that. So a lot of people would consider me to be an extroverted introvert. However, I also gain so much energy from social situations. I love hosting dinners, I love getting on stage, and it really pumps me with energy. But naturally also, too much of that can drain me. So I definitely get my energy from both situations, but I need to know when and how to utilize it. So being an ambivert entrepreneur, it's a little bit difficult because we love our social situations, but we also love being alone. And sometimes we have this guilty feeling where we're not always on. For example, like, people would expect us to just always have lots of energy, be willing to show up for different meetings and events. And sometimes we just don't want to do that. We just want to be by ourselves and have a quiet day. And so this video is all about trying to help people understand what ambiversion really is and how we can use it as a business superpower. So I want to run through 4 pros of being an ambivert entrepreneur that I've thought of that have really helped me in my business. So number 1, we can sell and still be genuine. And this is a huge thing in this day and age, especially where everyone's talking about sales and how it's a bit cringe and you know, people are just into your DMs, really like overly selling to you. We're generally quite good at selling, but staying genuine at the same time. Now, everyone always talks about how authentic I am. I show up in this No Bullshit entrepreneur series. I'm just being me, but I'm still able to sell. And I think the reason is that ambiverts are great at listening, but we also can have a bit of the gift of the gab when it comes down to it. And it's not something that we have to put on. It's just who we are because we've got both sides of those personalities. So I think that ambiverts can actually outsell both introverts and extroverts because we know when to push and when to pause and make it feel natural and not icky at all. So number 2 is that we can read the room instinctively. I think we're actually quite great with social cues. So we can go into a room, we can feel someone's energy when it's bursting up, or we can feel when someone's feeling a little bit uncomfortable. Now this shows up great in situations, for example, in pitches. If we're reading a room when we're doing a pitch and we can feel people who are feel uncomfortable, a little bit bored, we can pick up on that and then we can pivot and adapt accordingly to make sure that they are still on. Likewise, if energy is shifting, and especially like at networking events, we can make sure we're able to network the room and also make people feel comfortable and included in situations. So I think that this is a massive plus for ambiverts. Ambiverts don't burn out as fast as, for example, extroverts, because extroverts thrive off the energy that they get off other people, so they keep doing it over and over again and they keep going, but then they burn out a lot quicker because they're just expending all of this energy. As an ambivert, we love our rest too, we love our alone time, so we build it in, and so therefore we're able to reserve enough energy to show up when it really matters. So because we have skills on both sides of the spectrum, we can be both the visionary and the operator. Now, this is absolutely essential when it comes to startups and having small teams, because we need to wear a lot of hats. So we can do both the big picture strategy and really, really love and enjoy the deep solo work. This flexibility is so rare, but so powerful when managed properly. So naturally, there are also some cons of being an ambivert entrepreneur too. So I want to cover those just for some balance, because that's what ambiversion is all about too. So the cons are, number one, we have mad energy swings, and these swings can completely wreck our rhythm. So one day we're networking like crazy, people think we're like this amazing super connector and we're doing really well, and the next day we just don't even want to be seen. So this is super difficult when we're trying to plan launches, events, and even our content calendar, because when your social battery fluctuates that much, it's really hard to plan. So people expect you to be a certain way. They expect you to pick a lane, for example. You confuse people. They don't even believe you half the time. So many times people say to me, oh, why are you being so quiet? And I'm like, that's just me. I'm like, no, you're loud, you're outgoing, you're an extrovert. I'm like, no, not all the time. I am balanced, or sometimes I am quiet too. And they question you, why are you so quiet today? Something must be wrong. Or if you're generally quiet and you're loud today, people go, oh, what's up? Why are you so loud today? It's really difficult because people expect you to be a certain way, and then you feel the pressure to show up a certain way even if you don't feel like that. So I think the thing is, if you're an ambivert, you really need to own it. You need to be like, right, I am an ambivert, I am both outgoing and introverted at times, and this is just me, and you just need to deal with it. So there is such a thing as being too flexible, and I think that I've definitely seen this, and so many ambiverts have seen this, in the fact that because you're so good at different things, because you've got different personality types, you end up doing too many roles in a business, especially in startups. When you're starting out, you're wearing lots of hats, but because you're able to do so many things, you get put into doing those so many things, and it can really, really wear you out. So one of the things that I think has really, really helped me is the ability to be able to delegate based on your energy rather than just skills. So a lot of people think, okay, what skills are necessarily I'm not good at, or what are beneath me, or what things are some people better than me, I should delegate. I don't even think that now. I think, which are the tasks that really drain my energy the most? Because those are the ones I'm going to outsource first, because otherwise I'll end up doing pretty much everything in the company, and that's not a good look for anyone. So we have this tendency to retreat when things get a bit much, even if our audience really needs us to show up. And this visible instability is what stalls growth, but yet we keep doing it. Especially when it comes to content, because the pressure of having to show up all the time is difficult. I think that that's where content systems are really, really important. So making sure that you're able to consistently stay visible without the need to have the energy to show up all the time personally, for example, repurposing content, automating things, and having a good system with other people to help. So now I've learned to fully embrace who I am as an ambivert, and I've learned to work with the ambiversion to really play to my strengths. So here are just a couple of things that I do to really help maximize my ambiversion. So number one is that I schedule in quiet days. What that means is that I don't have any meetings on these days. I literally spend it by myself, walking my dog, cleaning my flat, doing things that kind of help me mentally reset and my body to reset. I often go to the spa, just don't talk to anyone. And this really helps my mind and body reset things. And often I schedule this in the day after an event, so I need to make sure that I'm really planning my schedule properly, because I really do need these days of rest. So I've now said no to most conferences. I rarely go unless I really need to be there. And obviously I do talk at conferences, so those are the ones I kind of use anyway. So when I'm talking, I go on stage, but I also make sure I'm there before and after for networking, so it's a full energy draining day. So generally I don't attend many conferences anymore. Instead I do coffees, I do smaller meetings, I do intimate group sessions, and this is why I curate so many events, because I then have these smaller, more intimate dinners and lunches where I basically get to network with people I actually want to talk to. Everyone around the room is someone that I see really valuable and really interesting and motivating, and so therefore I'm more than happy to have my energy spent on them, because it's totally worthwhile. I now absolutely need to batch content like this. I do it on days when I feel on, where I feel like I've got my energy and I'm not on my rest days. And I still need to be flexible with this, because whilst I do schedule them in and have these batch content times, things can happen and my energy gets drained, so I need to make sure that I am able to be slightly flexible with this and have backup times as well. But generally, batching content, planning ahead, and making sure you have really good strategy and planning, always my thing, that will help. So basically, I've had to now create a structure that works with my energy and not against it. So many of us, we feel somewhat unmanageable. We feel like we're all over the place. And, you know, I've had times, and I know lots of other people who are ambiverts too have had times where we feel like, what's wrong with us? Like, where we feel like we should be really have lots of energy and we just feel a bit low and we need quiet time, we want to stay away from people. We say, what's wrong with us? Why don't we want to be social? Why don't we want to talk to people? But we've got to actually embrace it. We've got to accept ourselves for who we are, and that's just who we are. We need that alone time. There's nothing wrong with us. That's just who we are. So actually, we've got a lot of great traits. We are adaptable, we're emotionally intelligent, and we can be persuasive without being pushy, which is amazing in business and sales. We're generally quite strategic, and we're empathetic too. And these are all amazing traits and qualities to have, especially in business, and very few people have them. So we need to learn how to use this ambiversion as a superpower. So when we finally own our ambiversion and stop fighting ourselves, that's when we can really thrive. So the best businesses aren't built on one extreme. They're built by founders who know how to manage themselves. So you don't need to be the loudest in the room. You don't need to work in silence forever. You can be both. And if you're building a business, use that to your advantage. So please comment below, are you an introvert, extrovert, or an ambivert entrepreneur? And how do you use your energy to your advantage? And please do like and subscribe if you want to hear more honest content about what it's really like running a business.